I know it's stupid, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So the Supra is kind of a unicorn for many people, but some people kind of see it as just an old Japanese sports car, and the values just somehow stayed high. So I never ended up saving up to get one, even though when I was younger, I was like, I'm gonna have a Mark IV Supra, blah, 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 but it just didn't work out. So I ended up going down to Orlando, Florida for Adam LZ's open house. And it's pretty cool little car meet. There's really cool cars there. There's even like an R34 there and a whole bunch of interesting stuff. So I said that I was gonna leave the house at 8:30. He was not awake at 8:30. I said, you know what? I'm gonna stick to my guns and I'm gonna keep going. So me and Alejandra get in the car. We start driving north back to Atlanta. Just driving along, get probably halfway through Georgia. And all of a sudden, I look in my rearview mirror and I see this little tiny red speck. It gets closer and closer and closer and closer. It starts gaining and gaining and gaining. And I'm like, okay, they're going pretty fast. They're starting to go faster and faster and faster. You know what? I'll just move over. You know, I'll just let them go by. I'm not trying to get a ticket today. I'm just chilling, I'm cruising home. Look in the rear view. Oh, it's a Supra. You know, it's this beautiful red Supra with drag radials on it. Like giant tires on the back, super intimidating looking. And he gets right on my bumper, gets on it a little bit, lets the blow off valve purge and all that. I'm like, oh my God, this thing's wild. He pulls up next to me. I'm like, he's gonna try and mess with me. I know. I just know this is gonna happen. He rolls down his window and goes, I watch you on YouTube. I'm like, oh, really? No way. So we ended up just kind of cruising, goofing off, you know, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You know, I didn't want to say bye to this guy because he seemed so chill. And it's fun when you run into somebody on a road trip that you've never met before, but they enjoy cars as much as you do. So it kind of makes the drive more enjoyable. You know, you're kind of cruising with another sports car who has the same mindset. You're like, oh, I don't want to have a boring drive all the way back to Atlanta. So you know what? Maybe I'll see if he needs gas. He definitely needed gas. So I rolled down my window. I said, hey, I got to get gas. Do you? And he goes, oh yeah, I have to too. So we pull over to this Chevron station, get gas, gets out. He's like, bro, I've been watching you since so-and-so. I'm from Qatar in the Middle East. I'm like, you're from Qatar? What are you doing here? And he goes, oh, I go to school in Florida. To go home for Christmas break, there's a direct flight out of Atlanta, and it was way cheaper. So we're just kind of getting to know each other a little bit, talking while we're pumping our gas. He goes, so listen, you're gonna think I'm crazy, but, and I'm kind of looking at Alejandra and I'm like, what's he gonna say? He goes, do you wanna have a Supra for a month, basically? I was like, I'm sorry, what? And he goes, no, seriously, I don't wanna leave my Supra at the airport for, you know, weeks on end. And I understood that. And he goes, it'll be a lot safer with you. You respect cars, you like cars, and you get videos out of it. And I'm gonna love when you make videos out of it, so it's a win-win for everybody. Take it. I'm like, there's something fishy about this. But he showed his title, he showed his registration, showed the car, like all of it. I was like, oh man, I don't know. If I do this, I'm gonna have to video you saying that it's all okay, and also that if anything breaks on it, it's not my fault. And he goes, okay. I'm like, no way. So his name was Issa, super cool guy. Put up my phone. I go, okay, go ahead. And he goes, Issa, you know, so-and-so. If David breaks it, it's not his responsibility. I want him to enjoy the car, and he better beat on it. Like, he literally told me, I'm going to be upset if you don't beat the crap out of it. I'm like, this is not happening. You know, it's an 800 wheel horsepower Supra, and he's just giving me the keys. I was like, this is so bizarre. We come up with this plan of dropping off the Supra at the Atlanta airport at first. We pull into the international parking deck, pull in, I park next to him, I give him a hug for everything, even suggesting the idea. And he grabs his bag, and he walks away and goes, all right, see you later. And he just throws me the Supra key. And I'm like, this is not real. This can't be. So my girlfriend knows how to drive stick, but not perfectly well. So I was like, you know, 800 horsepower Supra in a 600 wheel horsepower Mustang with a heavy clutch. Let's just wait. So we drive all the way back to my house and drop off the Mustang. The next morning, I grab my buddy, Kyle, to help me go grab the Supra. So we go up to the upper deck where I parked it. I tried to park it in kind of a hidden spot of the garage, kind of behind a wall. And we go up to it, and I'm holding the key, and I'm about to unlock it. I'm like, this feels dirty. This feels bad. Like, the owner's not here. This isn't my car. And I'm about to just drive away with it and take it home. This is weird. So I lock the car, I get in. It has carbon fiber door panels inside, like door cards. He has like the president of Qatar decaled on the back. I'm like, this totally relates to me, you know, getting in. We put in the parking ticket, and it's $36 for one night at the international terminal. I'll never forget it, because I look at Kyle and I said, Kyle, I just got a Toyota Supra with 800 horsepower for $36. I don't care if it's for a limited amount of time. It's $36. He goes, dude, this is stupid. I'm like, I know it's stupid, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And I start driving it back, and I'm just cruising, and of course we get stuck in Atlanta traffic. That's not fun, and I'm almost out of gas because it was powered on E85. It had a flex fuel sensor in it, so if I absolutely had to put pump gas in it, I could. But he said, please, please, please use E85. I go, sure, I will use E85 for you. So I'm limping it back. You know, I'm like clutching everywhere I need to, or like to try and save gas at every moment to try not to starve this very expensive built 2JZ. And meanwhile, Issa's like, oh yeah, I've been through 5 2JZs. It doesn't matter to me. And I'm like, how do you not care? So get to an E85 station, fill it up, get all the way back to my house. And then every single day after that, it rained and I got 102-degree fever. So the car kind of sat there. I would warm it up, you know, every day just to turn it on, get it going so the E85 and all that wouldn't be so wonky. But I felt like I needed to keep this a secret. So everybody who was coming over saying hello or whatever, they're like, why do you have a Supra in your driveway? And I would always joke going, I bought it for $36. You know, as a joke. I was never serious about it. I just can't believe this is happening, but Issa's gonna be home in like 5 days, and I still hadn't made content with the car because I was just so sick. And it kept raining, and you don't drive drag slicks in the rain. It's just not what you do. Bad move. So finally stops raining, but it's still like 20 degrees outside, so I can't get traction at all. And then I think, you know what? That might make it more entertaining. So I thought about what Issa said. He said, beat the snot out of it. If you don't, I'll be upset. I go, okay. So I do the car review of it, and it never gets traction. So one of my friends named Javier down in Florida had a Supra. It was the black one that had like 1,000 wheel horsepower, built by Real Street down in Florida. And the way he always got traction in his was he would do this massive rolling burnout just to heat up the tires. It wouldn't be that smoky or dramatic, but it would just get heat in the tires. I'm like, I saw him do that. I can do that. So I go out on the street and I'm like, let me think how I did. Oh, okay. So I just go, you know, all the way down the street. And then I was like, well, that was really cool. So I made sure to film that. And then I did my first pull in the car, and I couldn't believe how fast that car was. It was pretty wild. But I ended up spinning up until about 130 miles an hour. So I'm just, you know, it's all turbo noise, you know, it's just, and you're like, oh yeah, this is still a 30-year-old car. You know, like it still got the creaks and rattles and all that. So that kind of adds more excitement to it because it's shaking. You're like, oh my God, this is so wild. Then I end up doing a silly video with it where I go grocery shopping in it. You know, I go grocery shopping in an 800 horsepower Supra. Is it even possible? And I'm like, oh wow, the trunk's actually pretty big. That's nifty. And so I did that, and then I made a video comparing my 2JZ 240 to an actual Supra, which was interesting because the power to weight made it really close. The 500 wheel horsepower 240 was extremely close to speed-wise to the Supra. So handling all that, made a comparison video. Lastly, I made the video giving the Supra back. And I remember after that happening, I had about 3 other offers of people saying, you can keep my car for a week, or you can do this. It just didn't work out. But I just thought how interesting it was of people's generosity. You know, like people's cars are their babies. And somebody will be like, yeah, I've owned this car 10 years, but sure, you can have it for a while. And Issa treated that Supra like his baby, but he just didn't care because he trusted me. So I give the Supra back to Issa. He gets in the car, big old cheesy grin on his face, happy to have his car back. And he goes, "You didn't get on it enough." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" He goes, "You didn't bang off rev limiter or anything." I'm like, "Well, yeah, because I wanted to save the motor." He goes, "It's fine." And all the way downtown Atlanta goes, like fire spitting out of it, 2-step. He's like, "I'm glad to have my car back." And then went all the way back to Florida right afterwards. So probably one of the strangest but most fulfilling experiences I've ever had in my life. And I got to drive one of my dream cars for an entire month.